Well, I think one of the things that I wish the committee members would explore a little bit more is this question of why so many of these requests for additional security from Chris Stevens, from others in Libya, things that I've been reporting on since October 2012, why they were not met with more security. We've had a lot of testimony in the past 2 years plus about these requests. When I asked Secretary Clinton last week about how I never understood why they weren't met, she basically said what she said today, which is there are security professionals who are the kinds of people who put their lives on the line, and they assess what is needed, and they did not feel that more security needed to be sent to Libya. I'm still curious as to why that is. Do they need more money? Do they need more funding? Do they need more personnel? Why are these individuals not getting the security they need? And I hope that when this process is over, we have some answers to that, because we have been through a number of hearings where this point has been made, and yet I still don't find that a very satisfying answer. Well, the diplomatic security experts felt like they didn't need to send more security. Those experts, however heroic they were obviously wrong. More security was needed. Another point that Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio was making that I thought was interesting had to do with the fact that the Obama administration, not just Secretary Clinton, but writ large, made a big point out of blaming the attack on that anti-Muslim video. And as we know in retrospect, that was not the reason for it. And one of the things that was interesting that the Democrats on the Benghazi committee have previously released this month had to do with a conversation that Secretary Clinton had with the Egyptian prime minister at the time, and in which she said, according to notes taken, quote, "We know that the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest." And that was the day later, September 12th. And she also said to him, "Based on the information we saw today, we believe the group that claimed responsibility for this was affiliated with al-Qaeda." That's Ansar al-Sharia. Now, the next day, or later that day, I should say, Ansar al-Sharia denied having anything to do with the attack, but it definitely shows that there were senior individuals in the Clinton administration, in the Obama administration, including Secretary Clinton, who had serious concerns that this was not as a result of the video. And yet, within that week, the Obama administration, including Secretary Clinton, continued to say it was the fault of the video. Why? Why is that? The theory from the Republicans is President Obama was in the midst of an intense re-election fight with Mitt Romney. This is September 2012. And one of his talking points, one of his selling points for his re-election was that al-Qaeda was on the run and that the United States was winning this fight against terrorism, and that would undermine that. Is that the reason why so much credibility was given to a video, even though Secretary Clinton, according to these emails that we have now from the Democrats and the Republicans, knew that there was credible information that it was not the video?
And they make the point that a few days later, after the attack on September 11th, 2012, Susan Rice, who was then the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, went on 5 Sunday talk shows, television shows, and raised the specter of that video of Mohammed being the cause of what happened in Tripoli.
That's right. And in fact, there was a prosecution of that filmmaker for tax evasion, and a lot of attention on the film, when in fact we know now that that was not the reason for this terrorist attack that killed 4 Americans in Libya. So I don't think we're ever going to have somebody in the Obama administration say, yes, we were trying to divert attention from the fact that our anti-terrorism policy was obviously failing, but that is something that we need to have more questions on and more answers. Clinton.
Yeah, and as in that exchange that Jim Jordan, the Republican congressman from Ohio, had with her, he basically says, you knew that night, you were emailing your own family that this was a terrorist attack. Why didn't you stick with that in the days that followed the administration?
It sounds like there's a lot of contradictory information that she was getting, but that's not what she said.